Happy 4th of July. If you are tuning into this video, I feel like I just gotta say welcome. The last week here, Don and Tom gave me a plug, and I just kind of wanted to take some time and introduce myself. My name's Eric. I am the younger brother to Don and Diana, and brother-in-law to Tom, Rusty Judgment. And I was a little shocked last week when they gave me that plug. I wasn't expecting it, did not know they were gonna do that. I watched the subscriber base go basically double in the last week, and so I wanted to take a minute here and just kind of introduce myself and talk about myself a little bit here so you got a better understanding about what we do, who we are, my connection with Don and Tom, and etc, etc, etc. If you just kind of found this channel through Rusty Judgment, I grew up on this farm right here with my two sisters, Don and Diana. Don, the minimal mom, Diana Cuckoo, she's got her channel. And it's kind of funny because in some ways, when we all three of us get together, it feels like just like we were growing up. A lot of competition comes out between the three of us, and also just a lot of jabs back and forth, but all in good humor, just kind of in fun jokes, fun-loving jokes. The one thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat is where my channel is going to be a little different than Dawn and Diana's. It's much more on the fly. I'm going to bring you in and out of kind of the everyday life of a Midwestern farmer and tie that in with working on some fun vehicles and just doing a lot of odd things. Where Farmer Unorthodox is going to be a little different is a lot of times I just grab my phone and hit record because whatever's going on is happening that day, and that's the way it is. If it feels a little unstructured, trust me, it is. I've always been a little different. I've always been independent. Actually, all three of us kids have always been independent, and it's just kind of funny. And then with the whole mindset of rolling through the punches, I had another video I was trying to come out with today. We're having some technology problems, and because today's Tuesday, and so I've been putting videos out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and actually we're going to switch that up just a little bit. Instead of Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to, in this upcoming week, we're going to go to Sunday and Thursday, just to give me a little more time between the first video and the second video of the week. What I'm kind of finding out is my schedule on the weekends is more flexible than during the week. During the week, my phone rings nonstop, and everything I do that day changes on whatever phone call I get. And with everything that changes that day, I never know what time I'm waking up or going to bed. A lot of times I just end up working until the project's done, and then I go to bed, and then I wake up the next day. On this channel, we're going to talk a lot about the ins and outs of farming, me and my dad. So the background on me is me and my dad farm together. We're business partners in this. And then we also have another business that we do custom land application of lime and residual spreadings. Sometimes it's whitewater treatment lime, sometimes it's biosolids. And so just what biosolids are is what comes out of the wastewater treatment plants. And then we go out and spread them on farm fields. And doing all of that along with farming anywhere between 700 to 800 acres right in there. Always changes, depends on the year. There's a million things that go wrong. Like I began saying, I had a video I was working on originally, started on Sunday night. For some reason, earlier today, I couldn't get it to load the way I needed to, and we did some family stuff. Then I did a little trucking. The quick summary of it all, I grew up on this farm with my two older sisters in a big old farmhouse that up until 1996 we heated with wood heat, and we did not have a furnace. And we got the furnace in 1996, and I'll never forget it because I remember watching for the first time ever, we watched the drapes move in the living room, and then we were all amazed by the thermostat, and we were all looking around like, where do we set the thermostat? Is like 80 too high? Because when we heated the house with wood heat, if you were cold, you just threw more wood in, and then when you got hot, you cracked a window. You know, it wasn't too much rocket science. But growing up, we had beef cattle here. We always had probably about 20 to 30 head of beef here. We had 1,000 head of hogs, hog barns just behind me. We grew up every day with the typical chores that go with 1,000 head of hogs and, 20, 30 head of beef. And then down the road, my grandparents' farm, when they were alive, we always had about 50 to 75 beef up there. And then between them, my grandparents and some other family members, there was some more hog barns. Growing up, it wasn't uncommon for us to have somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 head of hogs. If that wasn't enough, my grandpa also had a trucking company, and I laugh very hard because I said when I graduated high school, I was done with the farm and I wasn't going to do this crap anymore. And well, 20 years later, look where I'm at. Now, since then, a lot of things have changed. But yeah, growing up, me and my sisters, we worked way harder than most people of that generation. And definitely harder than today's generation. Not slamming today's generation, they're good in their own right. But me and Dawn have a joke back and forth when her kids get a little whiny that they need to go power wash a hog barn, because you can't power wash a hog barn without knowing the taste of pig manure. And many times I've looked at Dawn and I'm like, yeah, they need to go power wash a hog barn. She just looks at me and she's like, you are so right. Anyways, we'll change the subject on that. But anyways, we just grew up farming. We did what a lot of people did. A lot of my neighbors had dairy cows, and so they grew up milking, and we grew up with hogs and beef cows, and growing up doing all the things that went along with that. Today we farm somewhere between like 600 and 800 acres. It kind of varies, depends on the year and different things on that order. But then we land apply somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 acres of product for spreading. So we end up usually going over somewhere between like 3,000 and 4,000 acres spreading, and that keeps us just super busy. And so today there's just always a lot of things going on. I mean, my schedule is always jam-packed, and that's where some of the challenges of coming out with some of the videos for YouTube is just my schedule so incredibly busy. And then like night like tonight when I'm fighting with technology, that doesn't help either. But I wanted to take this minute and just kind of explain a little bit who I was and what we do, because I was looking at some of the comments over the weekend in the comment section. Believe it or not, I do look at them. I just don't have time to get back to everybody or, answer them all. Believe me when I tell you I have a corporate professional schedule. I mean, that 80 hours a week plus is what I work. That's just kind of life. One other question that came up quite a bit in the comment section is, and this one I just kind of laugh at, who's Adam? And you're going to hear his name get referenced a whole lot. There's days I think Adam questions who's Adam. Adam is my little cousin. I think we'd be like third cousins, but he's the guy that started working here at 14. He's now 19. He's got a full-time job. I mean, he still comes and helps me after work almost every day. And Adam was the high school kid that just developed his skill set. And even though he's only 19, believe me when I tell you, he's got a skill set that a 25 or 30-year-old should have. He's very good running equipment. He's kind of turned into that jack of all trades. He can kind of do it all. This last year was the first year we had him plant. It's kind of funny. He planted his first field of corn all by himself. This last fall, we had him running combine. And so you're going to hear his name referenced a whole lot. He also was one of the first guys that was totally cool with me filming him. On a given day in the summer, there's probably 1 to 4 people here. And then on a typical fall day, there's anywhere from 4 to 10, just depending on what we all have going on. As we kind of land the plane here, one of the things I just kind of want you to always know is, if you tune into my sister Dawn's channel, The Minimal Mom, or Diana's, or Rusty Judgment, even though this channel is going to be different, I think you're going to find I hold the same morals and values that my sisters have. My family means the world to me. I love being Uncle Awesome. Dawn's kids, I grew up babysitting them, and it's kind of fun watching them get older. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I actually just live in mom and dad's basement. I actually had a debate with Dawn once that I was a bigger minimalist than she was, and she's like, how do you figure it? I'm like, I don't even own a home. How do you get more minimalist than that? Now, that was a joke, but believe me when I tell you that there is a sense of humor between me and my siblings that doesn't carry over on their channels, but I think you're going to see it a little bit on mine. That's the one thing I can guarantee you is we're going to have fun on this channel. You're going to see a lot of things that we do are ag-related, tractors driving around in a field, loaders, semis, etc. But I think you're also going to find we're not just an ag channel. The only hobby I really have, I don't hunt, I don't fish, I just don't have time for it. Someday I'd like to get to that point. But old classic vehicles are kind of my one hobby. And so you're going to see us where we do some work on some old vehicles and kind of update some stuff and make them run a little better. But yet we're not a repair channel. We're not just a classic car channel. We're not just an ag channel. We're kind of just a little bit of everything. And I just hope when you tune into this channel, the biggest thing I just want you to stay is open-minded. I can tell you the editing is going to be different than other channels out there. The videos are going to be different than other channels out there. And I just hope when you see that thumbnail and you click on Farmer Unorthodox, I hope you just realize it's just a different platform, or it's just a different style of content. Even with the FU logo, even with the FU logo, I hope you just look at that and just kind of laugh to yourself and go, well, someone was going to do it. Why not Eric? Because that was kind of my attitude. To this day, originally I was going to call the channel like the Project Shop or something like that, because everything in life revolves around the shop. I mean, everything does. And I'll never forget this. We were down in the basement. I was doing paperwork. Dawn came down to talk to me, because it took Dawn about a year of talking to me to convince me to do a channel. And then she's like, I think you should do something farmer related or ag. And I was like, well, then I want a word that starts with U. And she just kind of looks at me and she's like, I want the abbreviation to be FU. And she just gives me the eye roll that I have gotten so many times from my sisters. Just that, oh, yep, this is our dumb brother. Again, going back to inner family humor. I mean, she meant it with love. And I immediately, though, when I got that eye roll, I immediately turned to my computer because I had the internet up. And I was like, I went right to Google dictionary and started looking at all the words that started with U. Holy crap, there's a million words that start with U. Like, I didn't think we were gonna have that big of a selection. And then we got to the word unorthodox, and the meaning and the abbreviation just fit. And Dawn looked at me and she's like, that really kind of is you. And the simple version of that is kind of a person who questions everything. And she's like, that really just is kind of you. So even with the FU logo, it is meant to be an absolute joke. I really hope when you tune in this channel, you just realize you can sit back, relax, laugh. A lot of times you're gonna be laughing at us. Sometimes you might be laughing with us. Sometimes you might see her cry. I mean, it's gonna be more comical than anything. The neatest comment I get with this channel is when I get people that just tell me, well, it's definitely different. Or, Eric, your channel's is different than everybody else's. And that's a little bit what I kind of hope. I think when I get that comment that, yep, it's just different, I think that's just a huge, huge comment. So with that being said, I'm gonna kind of land the plane here and wind down. The rest of this video, I did this a little bit earlier in spring, but I also added some clips to it. The rest of this video is going to be kind of like a highlight reel for videos to come. The hardest thing for me right now isn't filming some of the crazy stuff that goes on. It's to actually get it out on, like, to actually get all the videos edited in a time frame and get them out. And then when you're only doing 2 videos a week, and believe me, that's a challenge to do that, you just can't get them all out. So I do have a backlog of some of these videos, and we're going to get to them as the year goes on. But what you're about to watch here is kind of like the highlight reel of things to come. So I hope you enjoy. And like I said, when you see that Farmer Unorthodox thumbnail, I hope you can just always click on it. Just know you're going to have the same morals and values as my sister. It's always going to be a family channel. But I also just hope you realize it's one of those times where you can just sit back, relax, laugh at us, and enjoy life. Because let's face it, it's a short ride. I got good news. You're in two-wheel drive.
It's spinning.
Let's see. We'll see if it runs. Okay, we have been fighting water in the trench for the last 100 feet, and it's been miserable. All these projects start the same. Everyone's in a good mood, and then by day 2, everyone wants to kill each other in a positive affirmation way. All right, I gotta get back to work. Dude, we got it. Okay.
All right, well, that was cool.
So, what did we learn? On 255 low pros? Yeah, you got to pry the sidewall away so the fire can get in the rim.
I think we use a lot less ether than normal people.
That's okay. You know we're on government property right now, right? I was clean for about 20 minutes. Diesel fuel return line. Here we go. Done these before. And so what's funny is this is like 70 bucks, 75 bucks, and then this little emblem is like 75 bucks. But the only downside is they didn't give us any glue. Okay, try lifting slowly. Okay, so there's a reason a lot of times you don't do moves like this in the winter, and this is honestly what I feared. The road is nothing but ice, so I threw my tire chains on. Okay, so you're my witness. So Tuesday, I started talking with you like around 6 a.m. and I was already in the truck. And that was when we had the airbag issue. The airbags did not inflate. And then I worked all through Tuesday, all through Tuesday night, all through Wednesday, up until I think I got home about 9:30 Wednesday night. And then I fell asleep, and then I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning because my mom was yelling at me to help clean for Thanksgiving, which was at 10. Then I slept from 2 to about 9:30 last night, and then I got on the road trucking, and then I got down here. So believe me when I tell you, it's been a hectic 3 to 4 day run, but I'm very happy everything's going this good. Dino's running a ripper, and we did what we always did. Went till the wheel fell off, so I'm gonna pop the lugs out of it, grab the hub, see if that's salvageable, and head to John Deere, get some parts. Better than expected. I need the wire anyway.
Yeah. Take two.
we're officially closer to 2 months rather than 2 weeks on this project.